Hey boys and girls, you may notice I have my days left in school chain on right now. Last week when I showed it to you, it had 26 of these rings on it. Right now it only has 22 rings on it because I was able to take one off each day that I finished my schoolwork. So now I'm down to 22 rings. Every time I see you, this chain is gonna get shorter and shorter and shorter until it's almost summertime. So hang in there, you're doing a great job. I wanna talk to you a little bit today about a different kind of shape. Last week and the week before we were talking about these shapes. You pretty much became experts, and I know that because on our show What You Know last week, you guys did an amazing job, These shapes that I cut out of paper, we call them two-dimensional shapes, 2D shapes. That means they're flat like a pancake. I could slide it right inside a book and close the book and you wouldn't even know that it was there. I can sit it down on the table like this and it doesn't stick up, it doesn't take any space. I could even put it on my wall like I did last week and it stays flat to the wall. It doesn't take up any space out here. So we call these two-dimensional shapes because they're very, very flat like paper. Well, this week, I want us to start talking about three-dimensional shapes. Sometimes you hear people say 3D shapes, and I wonder if you ever have seen a 3D movie. Those are those awesome movies where when you're sitting in the movie theater, you wear those special glasses. They have some of these at Disney and Universal. You wear special glasses, and when you're looking at the movie screen, it seems like the things in the movie screen are coming right out at you. Like you could reach your hands out and grab them. Seems like you could wrap your arms around them. That's a 3D movie. It means things don't look flat. It looks like you can actually hold them in your hands. Well, I have some 3D shapes with me here today. We're gonna learn about 2 of them. We're really gonna learn about 4 altogether, but today, just 2. And then tomorrow we'll cover the other 2. One of these shapes, I know you already know it. You bump into it all the time. I think we've even used this word sometimes in our classroom, not in the best way, but you know what I mean. It says this, cube. You can see it's got a sneaky E there reaching over and pinching that U. Otherwise, it would just say cub. We're not talking about bears in here. We're talking about shapes. So we need that E to say cube. So here's a cube. Got one right here. Looks just like one of the blocks from our block center, doesn't it? You'll notice that every side of this cube is flat. If I want to put it down on the table, I could put it on any side and it is not going to roll away from me. Right? Well, these flat sides on a 3D shape, a shape that I can wrap my hands around and it takes up space, if I put it on the table, it sticks up a little bit. I certainly could not put this guy in the middle of a book and then close the book. It wouldn't close anymore, right? Because 3D shapes, they take up space. It's like you can wrap your arms around them. If I put this guy on the wall, he's gonna stick out from the wall. He doesn't stay flat on the wall, right? He's a 3D shape called a cube. Now, all these flat sides in this cube have a funny name. You know what we call the flat sides in a 3D shape? I'll give you a hint. You've got one on the front of your head. It's a face. We call the flat sides faces. And do you know how I remember that? Here's one of my other cubes. This is a big one. This one's a little bit smaller. You see how it's smaller? But look what I did. On each side of my cube, I drew a different kind of face because that reminds me that wherever there's a flat side, there's going to be a face. Curves don't get faces, but flat sides in 3D shapes, they get faces. So a cube, it actually has 6 faces, 6 flat sides. Do you know how I know that? Because look at this cube. You've seen this one before. How about this guy? We use these all the time in the classroom, don't we? And what's the largest number on a dice? 6. That lets me know that it has 6 flat sides, right? So a dice is an example of a cube. Here's another cube. This one's the same as this one, only it's blue. Remember these from our classroom? Had to do a little sneaksies to get these home, but I did it. Stuck them in my bag so I could show it to you. These are the shapes from our classroom, more cubes. And look, I got this one too. I found this one at my house. Here's a cube. This was a gift, I think, that Jake gave this to Mr. Taylor a couple of years ago. It's a really fancy gold baseball that says All-Star Dad. But look, it has 6 faces, 6 flat sides, just like the dice, and just like this cube, right? The good thing about cubes is you can use those flat sides to stack them up. Cubes are easy to stack. Our block bin at school is filled with cubes, that's for sure. Okay, I'm gonna set these cubes aside because I wanna show you one more shape. This one is called a cylinder. Do you hear that? Cylinder? What letter does it seem like should be right here for cylinder? Yeah, an S. I think it should be an S, but they didn't ask me. And then listen to this. What letter does it seem like should be right there? Like icky medicine. An I. But they put a wannabe Y there. I'm telling you, that Y, it sneaks in wherever it can be. I want to be an I. I want to be an E, right? Cylinder. So say cylinder like you mean business. Cylinder. Yeah, cylinder. A cylinder is a shape that only has 2 faces, 2 flat sides. I've got one right here. This is a cylinder. It's kind of round. I can roll it in my hand like this, but it does have 2 flat sides. And look, on each flat side, I drew a face to remind me that the faces on a cylinder are the flat sides, or the flat sides are called faces. Okay, so a cylinder looks a little bit like one of these. I bet you have some of these in your house. Do you have some cans in your house? This one's corn. Maybe we'll have some corn today for dinner. Here's some corn. Here's another one I found in my house. Salt. My salt shaker. Look, it's got a flat side up here, a flat side down here, and the rest curves around. If you look at the face of a cylinder, it's in the shape of a circle. But the face of the cube is in the shape of a square. Yes, these are circle faces. Look, I've got another one. This is the one from the school, right? Shh, don't tell anybody. And I got a big one. I got a big cylinder here. You ready? Let me move these guys out of the way. How about this guy? You have these in your house, I bet, right? Paper towels. But look, there's a face on the bottom, a flat side, and a face on top, and it curves going around just like this. So it has, and the face is in the shape of a circle. So I've got a cylinder here. Cylinders come in all shapes and sizes. Since they have 2 flat sides, you can stack them also. Boy, these are getting really tall, you guys. Let me see if I can get them all up here. Sometimes Miss Taylor has smart ideas, and sometimes I have ideas that are not quite as smart, and this might be one of those. How about that? Cylinders can stack just like cubes. That's what we're gonna be doing next week, is seeing which shapes will stack and which shapes will roll. We'll become experts at that. So cube and cylinder, those are our 2 3D shapes for today. Remember, 3D means you can wrap your arms around them. Feels like you can reach out and grab them because they take up space. Alrighty, so your work today is to come up with a cube and a cylinder that you see around your house. Do your best on drawing it. Cubes are a little tricky, just do your best. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow when we talk about the cone and the sphere. Bye, guys.